What's up guys, it's Tori and John with Pickleball Mafia, and today we're answering the question, what pickleball is the best of the best, the cream of the crop, that one ball that just dominates all others?
In this video, we only look at the balls that are designed for the highest, fastest level of play. And if you're looking for a comparison of all balls, head on over to our other video, what ball is best for you. Now, let's get into this pickleball shootout.
The balls that we're looking at today are the Dura 40, the Franklin X40, the Core, the SLK Competition, and last but not least, the Wilson True 32.
First, we're gonna look at the rotational molded balls, which is the process of heating the materials and spinning it, which forces it into the mold.
Yeah, then they come in and they drill the holes after the ball has already taken its shape. To achieve a consistent wall thickness, this rotation needs to be done on 3 axes, but most companies are only using 2 axes, which is achieving a less than consistent wall thickness.
Which means the play can vary from ball to ball, and the bounce can vary from ball to ball if the wall thickness isn't just right.
The Dura 40 is what some would call the original pickleball, and is the standard of play for the pro tournaments.
Based on our test, it has an average bounce height of 34¼ inches when dropped from the USPA standard of 72 inches, which is on the middle side of the acceptable scale, which is 32 to 36 inches.
This ball is extremely hard, and when hit hard has a tendency to skid, and that skid's most noticeable when the ball hits the line at high speeds.
They used an aerophysic hole design, which had holes specifically placed around the ball, so it will have the truest flight path.
This consists of 16 medium holes and 24 small holes.
Now the negative of this is that the holes are not evenly spaced around the ball, so when the ball is hit, it will bounce different depending on what it lands on.
For example, these balls are extremely hard, so the bounce and the hit off the paddle is dependent on what part makes contact with the paddle and the ground, whether that's the small hole, the large hole, or the hard surface of the ball.
This can clearly be seen when the ball is on its second bounce at a lower speed.
Yeah, so the second bounce varies greatly from the first bounce. Now, the second bounce isn't anything important in pickleball, but this just shows that every bounce is different and showcases that the bounce is dependent on where it hits on the ball.
People complain that in colder temperatures and when these balls are used a lot, they tend to crack, which can be seen as a positive and a negative.
Yeah, so for example, in tournament play, if you have a Dura 40 and it's not cracked, you know it's good to go. Now, for colder temperatures and clinics and social groups and country clubs, you're gonna be cracking a lot of these balls and going through them rather fast, which may not be ideal. And lastly, these balls are not ideal for ball machines because the pressure that's applied on the rotors of the machine causes these balls to crack.
Next is the Franklin X40, which is growing in popularity, namely because it's starting to win bids to become the next pro tournament ball.
With Franklin's large purchasing power and distribution, it's able to provide a very competitive cost compared to the other balls.
They are a hard ball, but when compared to the Dura 40, they're considered softer.
This softness is due to the material that Franklin's using in their ball, which gives it a softer hit off the paddle and gives it more bite when it hits the court.
This makes it skid less when it's hit at high speeds and when it hits the line.
However, they can get overly soft, which means a used ball could play different than a ball that's fresh out of the box. They also have a tendency to lose their shape over time when they get overplayed.
Our bounce test showed on average a 2-inch higher bounce, 36 inches, than the Dura 40, and uses a similar aerophysics hole pattern as the Dura 40.
However, the Dura has a patent design, so the Franklin uses a pattern that is similar but changed its hole sizes to have consistent hole sizes on all 40 holes.
Which decreases one of the main variables contributing to bounce, creating a more consistent bounce over the Dura 40.
We love the Franklin ball because it lasts longer for our social play and we can use it in our ball machines. It also costs less up front and in the long term since they last longer.
All right, on to the Core and SLK competition. These balls have been growing in popularity in amateur tournaments, social clubs, rec play, and clinics.
These balls have a 40 symmetric hole design that gives them a consistent bounce and feel off the paddle.
They are made of a hard material, but are considered middle of the road compared to the soft, Franklin, and the super hard Dura.
These balls still skid a little bit, but not as bad as the Dura 40. And since they are a little bit softer, they do handle the banger and the power game a lot better without cracking as much, especially in cold temperatures.
They both have the same bounce, around 36 inches.
Yeah, and they're very lively and have a lot of pop.
And they're great for the fast-paced game, and they also have great durability.
So we talked to our friend Mark Price about these balls because he's decided to go with the core balls for all his camps and clinics nationwide. So he teaches at the pro level, the amateur level, and does camps and clinics all over the country. And he said he needed a high competitive ball that would last and have great durability through the length of the camp without breaking. He said this has saved him thousands of dollars in broken balls.
The only difference we saw in the SLK and the core was that the SLK had little air bubbles in the mold.
Now, we don't know exactly what this means and if it has anything to do with the quality issue, because we did find that the SLK hybrid was experiencing a lot of cracking issues along the center of the ball, but we don't know if that necessarily speaks to the quality of these balls in this example, but we figured it was worth mentioning.
Now, onto the all-new Wilson True 32 Pro.
Wilson didn't want to just make another pickleball. They wanted to use their experienced engineers from other sports like tennis and golf and develop an all-new ball that would have game-changing performance.
They knew that regardless of the sport, ball consistency is imperative for athletes to feel confident in their game.
So they decided against those rotocast balls because they were too inconsistent with the wall thickness, and instead opted for the 2-half injection molded ball.
They even used flight simulators, and they were able to remove the wobble from the traditional 40-hole ball with 32 symmetrical holes.
And developed their own proprietary material that they used in these balls.
This material is lab tested to show that this ball lasts longer by having a consistent rebound, and it's resistant to deformation.
It comes with a slightly textured surface because pro-level players prefer a pitted, scuffed surface to enhance their slice shots and their ability to bend the ball's flight path.
And they decided to go with a super bright neon red color that is easy to track visually, even during intense exchanges.
This all sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it gets better. While other companies are outsourcing all their production to China, where they're getting inconsistent balls back and the quality is varying, they decided to make their balls right here in the United States, in good old Wisconsin.
Now, for some potential negatives.
Pro model of the ball has a rather high bounce, which is a quality that's not necessarily liked by a lot of pro players, for the simple fact that a higher bouncing ball can be easily attacked.
It is also the highest priced ball on the market. So which ball is best?
Well, we liked the Wilson True 32 because it's such a game changer.
We took it out to open play and people absolutely loved it.
Right? The higher bounce allowed for longer rallies, and the pop off the paddle allowed advanced players to put the ball away with speed and accuracy. I loved it because I was able to go for more aggressive shots and the line, knowing that if I missed, it wasn't based off the inconsistent bounce, it was based off user error.
We highly recommend trying this ball out and would love to hear your feedback.
So we're gonna give away some Wilson balls, and we know it's tough to change such a critical part of your game, such as a ball. So we wanna make it easy for you, and we wanna hear your feedback. So
comment below, like and subscribe to our channel, and we will select 20 of you to send the new Wilson 32 True.
till next time.